Alright, so this is where I'm at with it. Monday, sandblast people, mean green blasting. They been busy, so they came back to work today. He's gonna get this stuff blasted for me today, and I'll be able to move on from this section and get some fenders done, installed on the car, sheet metal work done, and start getting the Bondo work done to them. Alright, see you later. Alright, same day, but wasn't able to pick up my fenders today because ran out of time. So he got done with everything today with the sandblasting, but he was leaving his shop at 4:30, so had to pick the grandkids up from school at 4, and then I had a 4:30 service call, so there wouldn't be no way I could ever make it out there. So anyways, every small accomplishment is another step closer to the end goal. Went ahead and started installing the lines, took the proportioning valve. I cut the ends off of all the old lines to plug up the holes, and then took it and put it in the sandblaster and cleaned it all up and painted it. So proportioning valves on, rear brake line is ran, passenger side brake line, and driver's side. I did order all the clips new, so I'm just waiting for the clips to come in. You get one here, clip here to hold it in place, and then you get one over there to hold it in place. But anyways, like I was saying, it might be a small accomplishment, but it's an accomplishment. Proportioning valve, brake lines, one step closer. Alright, made a trip out to the sandblaster today. Picked up my fenders. Been blasted. Had him do all that outer structure, like I said before. And I had him do this part on the inside. So he did hit a couple little spots out here for me that was kind of a little bit pitted, but overall did a good job on them, like he always does. And there's the inner structure of it, the headlight buckets and the rear brace that goes down the back of it, which will need some repair work done to them two parts. These here are fine, no rust holes in them or anything. They just need to be put in epoxy. The breather, air cleaner should I say, with the door all cleaned up. That'll get primered and put in some Hemi orange paint. The brake assembly, battery tray, brake booster and master cylinder. Master cylinder, I'll have to take it off and do a little bit more work to it. That's okay though. The motor mounts, and then the manifolds, he blasted those, but they don't look much, well, they look a lot cleaner actually, because they was pretty heavily pitted, but they don't look like this. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's cast iron or something, I don't know. But they're good enough for me to put a coating on them, and that's what I plan on doing, is just putting that exhaust coating on it from Eastwood's. Alright, just thought I'd show you that. Had the annual bug treatment guy came out and sprayed all in here because I've been seeing some brown recluse, and I don't be wanting to get bit by no brown recluse. So this got sprayed for brown recluse, and all around the edge of the house and the inside of the house got sprayed, just in case. So that's what I've been doing today. Had to run out and grab these. He did shoot this area here, it looks like. And not so much that one. But all of this in the back side of here has been done, which is a good thing, because I get that sheet metal repaired. Don't want no funkiness going on behind it. All that will get coated to be protected for further future rust issues. Alright, I'm out of here. Alright, so this is where I'm at with it. After having this piece sandblasted, you can see someone did their little makeshift repair on it. But yeah, it's pretty toast. And then the top of that, look at this Swiss cheese right there. There you go. Hold on, let me get this blowed up a little bit. There you go. Look at that Swiss cheese. Yeah, no, I don't think so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 3 pieces. So I'm going to use the bottom section of this, probably around this opening here, because that gives me a good indicator where I need to place it. So I'll use the bottom section of that. And then on this one here, I took this out of another panel, fender I had downstairs. So I'll be blasting that and replacing that section too. So I'm going to take 3 parts and make one. That's really, I think, the best way to go with this situation. That bottom section does have a little damage and rust out on it, but it's got to be better than that. So, alright, that's where I'm at with it. A little bit more involved than I was hoping, but yeah, like I said, 50-year-old inner structure that's been getting salt on it all these years. So yeah, you got to expect some of these parts to be crusty. Now for the other one, it's Swiss cheese down here too, but this is all, I think I can get that in a patch panel, like patch that outer section here and then work on the lips on the sides. I don't know, but I think I can make that panel. So alright, that's where I'm at. Alright, so after cutting all the and taking spot welds out of all the decent pieces out of the 2, so I had 2 of these pieces. I had to get one out of the basement off of another fender, but after cutting all of the good pieces and spot welding all the good pieces off, you know, getting rid of the Swiss cheese part, the homemade Swiss cheese and I don't know what you would call that. Fabricating. And then this one here, the main reason I got rid of it was because the capture nut that was right here was gone. So that's the 3 bad pieces. And then you can see the capture nut on that one. And then this piece here, not half as bad. It's got a few little pits right there, which I'll fix. You can see they don't look that bad from this side. So I think that's just a matter of plugging them all off and grinding them down. But anyways, here's where I cut this to make the 2 pieces. What I plan on doing is kind of get that part established where it belongs, because it's got like couple holes there that locate it, so that'll be easy to put back where it needs to be. And then I'm going to slide this back up in the fender and get it set to where it needs to be, and then start tacking it across here, so that once that's done, I can repair this little rust out on this side here and this little rust out here on this side, and then I'll have a good piece for passenger. So that's where I'm at with that. That's my piece for the passenger side. Once I get it all established and cleaned back up. And this is my driver's side one, and it's pretty much good all up through here, all down through here. A little bit hole right here that needs to be welded shut, and then I'll have to repair all that, which shouldn't be too bad. It'll just be a few little patches that will have to be tied together. Anyways, that's where I'm at with it. Working on those so I can get them mounted back up in the fenders. But what I want to do is get these established and cleaned up, and then shoot them in epoxy primer, and shoot them in epoxy primer, and of course the weld through primer on the areas that have to be welded. Shoot the back of these in epoxy primer, and get everything welded back in and mounted back together so I can get them on the car and start doing the body lines and the body work on them. I need to get that in primer and then painted orange. This needs to be painted black. I haven't figured out what I want to do with the battery tray. Do I want to paint it black, or do I want to paint it car color? Not sure on that. Motor mounts going black. That there, probably black. They're like a gold color or whatever from the factory. I don't know. I might do the gold on it. I have no clue what I'm going to do. And then, of course, the master cylinder. So, after cutting that one section off of my piece here, and then unspot welding that piece, they were done down small enough where I threw them in the sandblaster and started sandblasting them. But my luck, I opened up the sandblaster, I looked in, and I saw these spring perches that I forgot to take to the sandblaster with me, or they would have been done. So they had some heavy rust on them, so I soaked them in that Eastwood's Fast Etch and got most of the heavy rust off of them. Took all day soaking them to get the rust off of them. But I was able to get the rust off, and I'm working on the last one now. I'm working on the back side of it so I can get it in black paint. And trust me, I am about done with the sandblasting stuff. It's dirty, it's funky, and that's why I took that stuff to the people to do it out of house, because I don't like doing it. Plus it makes everything so dirty. So once I get them pieces done, I am pretty much done with the sandblasting. I'm going to clean my garage up really good and replace the plastic on this car. I'd like to get that car cleaned up if I could, but that's where I'm at. Same old boring shit. If I get anything, dang, I cussed again, sorry, but if I get anything done, I'll let you know. Alright, out here jacking around a little bit, getting this inner structure piece kind of established to where it needs to be, and tacking it in place so then I can weld it together. Alright, later. Alright, not much to show here, just some more boring content, but let's see, I'm working on getting the fuel lines and the vapor lines installed. Last time I bought lines from this place, they fit pretty good. This time around, I don't know if their molds are starting to get wore out or something, but they fought me this time. I had to put on one at a time instead of putting them all together and then sliding them in. I had to put on one at a time and put some brackets in place so that it would hold that one, and then I would have to do some tweaking and bending and stuff to get them to lay out the way that they need to be laid out. So anyways, working on that, getting that done. I painted a few of the brackets, that the clips or whatever that hold stuff in place. I guess my head is spinning in circles because I got so much to get done, and it's all running into each other, if that makes sense. So I got these fenders all sandblasted, and I got sheet metal work to do on them. You know, fill up these holes, fix these rust spots up front. But at the same time, both of my argon bottles are empty, so I can't really do any welding at this point until I get my bottles filled up tomorrow. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, I want to get the fenders done, put the fenders structure back in, and put the fenders on the car. But my dilemma is that once I get the fenders on the car, I won't be able to flip it over anymore because the fenders stick out. You know, the fenders stick out to here somewhere where they will hit this if I tried to turn it. So let me turn it real quick and I'll get right back. Okay, so the dilemma is, if I put the fenders on, they're going to hit here. I won't be able to turn the car anymore. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the inside of the car area and see about, you know, like getting this up here sanded all of this area, the firewall and all that sanded. Getting the seam sealer in, doing any sanding like up there on the speaker panel right there. Get that sanded and get everything cleaned up. Epoxy primer on any bare metal. And I believe what I want to do is go ahead and take the trunk lid off and work on the inside of the car and get all of the inside of the car done and in paint. Because if I can do that, then all of the inside of it will be done, and I will be able to not worry about having to flip the car over anymore, and then it can actually come down and get on jack stands where I can start doing the body work and all that stuff. That makes sense. I'm just rocking a hard place. I want to get the fenders done, but I can't. So I guess I'll just move on to something else. That way I can get something done. Alright, I'm out. Alright. So like I was saying in my last video there, ran out of argon or whatever in my on my welder, so I had to figure out something to do today. Being on a Sunday, this is my day. I usually come out and spend all day working out on the car, but I soaked a bunch of parts in rust remover, motor mount, bolts, and a bunch of other stuff, and a bunch of clips off of the old fuel line, bolts, you know, just typical stuff. But anyways, that thing gets pretty loud, so I figured I'd shut it off during my video, and I'll turn it back on and let it run for about another hour or so. I do have to get some paint stripper too while I'm out, because some of the bolts have paint on them, or epoxy, or you name it, but I need to get the paint off of them, so then I can throw more bolts in the rust remover, and then some more into the vibrator. And anyways, these are done. They've been cleaned and vibrated. They just need to, I need to get some degreaser and degrease them, and then drop them in the oxide. I did get a complete emergency brake cable kit from Inline Tube while I was at it. That way I don't have to deal with rusty lines or anything like that, and it'll just all be new. As for the car, I basically pushed all the body plugs out, and then taped over all the body plug holes. I did install the vapor separator. I got some of the clips installed here, one of the clips there, one of the clips there. So just I have to get a few more clips cleaned up so I can put them in some black paint, because that's the theme of it anyways. It's the black on the white. So anyways, come around this side. On the inside, basically just been cleaning up everything, blowing it out. As you can see, my floor is clean because after I got done blowing dirt and dust out of this thing, sanded the speaker panel down, did some sanding on the wheel wells where it had some scratches and stuff on them. This is the body work on them holes that used to be there. And then same thing on this side. We had a few runs from whenever I was doing the other paint. So fixing them runs, taping off holes, sanded the firewall down, so everything's sanded. It just needs to be wiped down. I probably won't be using a clear coat in here, just the base coat in this area. This trunk area I will do base and clear all the way around to, you know, like here on the wheel wells where I can see and shoot, we'll get clear. All through here clear. There ain't no sense in putting clear on the areas like this here that are going to get covered up anyway. So alright, and then I spent a few hours sanding the roof down. So what I was doing was I was sanding, and at the same time I was vacuuming. So there was tons of that sand still up in the grooves and stuff down in here. So with me sanding and vacuuming at the same time, I pretty much got all the sand out of that area. You guys probably thought, oh, he's just gonna paint over the rust. It wasn't really too much rust to say, but it was, I don't know why, but they sprayed what is that tacky stuff that you, oh, hold on a minute, I'll think of it in my brain. That took a whole 2 seconds. But that tack spray, like they used to put on a vinyl top, they sprayed it on there for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm just going to, like I said, primer it, and then base coat, and then I have the what is it called, Dynamat, that I'm going to be putting on the roof area. But I won't do that until I strip this all down and do the body work on the roof here. I got a little bit of a area right here that I worked on a few years ago, but you can still see kind of a crease right here. But unfortunately it's back in there, so I can only get it so good before it's just a matter of putting a skim coat on the roof and then sanding it down. Alright, I just wanted to show you guys I was really busy today. I didn't slack off or anything. I do have to do seam seal all around the wheel wells in the back, a little bit up here on the top on both sides, a little bit of seam seal there, seam seal across that back section right there. I did get a little bit right there back whenever I was doing that other stuff, but that tube ran out. So anyways, get some seam seal in here. Seam seal along the trunk drop off there. I need to re-seam seal back here around this edge here. Anyways, yeah. So I probably need a couple more tubes of seam seal to get it all sealed up, and then get the whole inside of the car painted and done. That way I'll be done with flipping it over on the rotisserie for the most part. I'll still have to flip over for, you know, some things, but I need to get that done so I can concentrate on the fenders, and I need to get my gas filled up so I can get concentrated back on the fenders and get them straightened up. Probably won't paint the doors at this point because I will be taking them off and sanding them down and then epoxying the inside. And when I do the inside epoxy, I'll go ahead and do the base coat on it too while I got them off both sides. But alright, boring video I'm sure, but hey, have a good one. Anyways, I thought I'd show you guys what I'm messing with deck lids. This is a 73 deck lid. Got a beautiful bottom, like some girls. No, got a beautiful bottom on it, but then this top is dented, crusty. And then the back lip is crusty all the way across. But then I got this 74 lid, and it's so far it looks pretty straight. I need to get the paint off of it and really take a look at it, but for the most part it looks pretty straight. And back lip is nice. The damage it's got is along this lip, and then that corner is rusted out. And then this is a 71 lid, or 72 should I say, and it's got a beautiful skin on it too, but then the bottom corners are rotted out. This side's worse than that side, but that's a 72. You can tell by the lock mechanism. If it was a 71, it would have that lock mechanism, but then it would have the cutouts here for the wing. So is the way I understood it. So that's 72, that was a 74, that was a 73. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this one up here real good, repair the damage on the back here, re-seam seal it, clean it all up, wire brush it, get rid of the rust, re-seam seal it all the way around, and then I'm going to cut that section out to repair this section. Guess these are drain holes, and that's probably why they rust out. They get moisture in them from heat cycling, from heat to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, and then they rust out in these areas where the drain probably get plugged up. Alright, I just wanted to show you guys what I'm dealing with on the deck lid. Good top, bad bottom, good bottom. Alright, and I thought, well, let's skin it. Let's see if I can pull the skin off. And I'm going to try it, just to be trying it, but I don't think you can. When I start bending this lip up, it starts putting a crease across there. So I don't know if that's gonna work or not. Alright, later. Hello. So I did get a couple tubes of seam sealer in. Well, I'm lying. So I ordered from Amazon the same seam sealer I got last time when I used one tube in here and I had one tube left. So I went ahead and ordered 2 more tubes and got them, and they were windshield sealant. They wasn't seam seal, and it was in black, and I ordered white. So I set up a return for them, and they shipped out another set, and they showed up and same thing, window sealant. The package says white seam sealer, but then you pull it out and it's black windshield adhesive. So had to send that one back too. So I ordered 2 different kind, and they're supposed to be here tomorrow. But I did have 1 tube, so I did go through and did a little bit more work on the seam seal throughout the car, around the wheel wells, across that area there, same thing here, and then I got back across here, and then this trunk wasn't looking quite the way I wanted it, so I scuffed everything down. It did have some like black, not sure what it was, overspray of some sort, and all in this area, and it was all like textured feeling, if you know what I mean. So I went in ahead and sanded it all down, and then this area back here was plumb full of dents. I don't know if you guys remember seeing it, but it was plumb full of dents where people been throwing stuff in the trunk over the years. And I figured that if you're going to be at a car show and you're going to have your trunk open, that's going to be the first area that they see right there. And if it's right there in your face, all dented up, they're going to knock you for points right off the bat. So, mixed up a little filler. First I knocked all the dents out as good as I could, and then took the shrinking wheel over it and got all the highs knocked back down. So this is a real thin coat here. Same thing here. I had to basically, from the back side here, back in here, hammer a bunch of dents out of this area here. Like I was saying, it was from people throwing stuff in the trunk over the years. But I got them hammered out as good as I could, and then put a thin coat of filler over the top of that area too. So I'm going to let that dry up and sand it tomorrow. And then I got a couple more spots like here, nice little dent there, here, another one here, that I want to go ahead and coat, because like I said, when you look in the car, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see all the little dings and dents all over the place, and I'm not trying to go for that, especially this area right here. So that's where I'm at with it. I did put some seam sealer in here and around the edges here. And then after I was done, I didn't like the way it looked, so I let it dry, and then I took the wire wheel and cleaned it all back out, because the first time really I just squirted it on and then smeared it on with my finger with some urethane thinner on my finger to kind of smooth it out, but I didn't like the way it turned out. So after I get all the body work done in here and get it all straightened back out, my plan is to kind of tape off the edges, put the seam sealer on, and then pull my tape. That way it's a nicer, straighter seam seal, and I just think it'll look better. And anyways, that's where I'm at with it. I want to get the body work done in the trunk, get all this straightened out and looking good, and reshoot my epoxy primer on, and then I'm going to put some color in the trunk area all the way back up in here, and then I want to hit all this in color. All this up here needs primered. That needs to be primered up there and painted. So that's where I'm at with it. Primer this and get it painted. Same way with the braces, all this, the inside area. Try to get it all said and done. Alright. Get back with you whenever I get some primer shot on it. I'll show you that, and then get some color shot in here. And I was just going to on the areas that's got panels that cover up and carpeting and stuff like that, I was just going to shoot the base coat in there, but that's really not going to give it any kind of protection per se, or clear wood. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. I don't know if I want to clear it or not. I might just clear from like that line up, and then from the under the seat back, and not worry so much about these side panels or the roof, because it's going to be covered up with Dynamat anyways. Alright, I'll get back with you on it. Alright, come out the garage, mess around a little bit. Got all those holes that were in the fender welded shut. Still need a little bit of work on it, but got a crack right here and a crack right here, so I'm not going to mess with any more of this until I get this stuff down here repaired and get the inner structure back in. Then I will straighten that up as much as I can. Because I'm out of practice, when I came out here today after letting this dry overnight, it was still soft in this spot. Up there was good. That area was good. All the dents and stuff in this area were good. But when I mixed this batch, didn't put enough hardener in it, so I ended up having to scrape it out and then redo it. This is like my third coat right now, and it got thinned down so that it will fill up any pinholes or anything like that. So I'm going to come back through and I'm going to sand this with 220, and once I get all that sanded with the 220 with the thinned out coat of filler on it. Then I can go ahead and shoot the primer back on, and I'll let the primer dry overnight. And then the most important areas, you know, like here and here, areas that you'll be able to see, I will, all this area that you'll be able to see, I'll go ahead and hit with like a 400. Same way with the wheel tub area, I'll go ahead and hit that with a 400, and then I should be getting close to just go ahead and shooting a little bit of color on this thing. I did get my seam sealer in today, so that's a good thing. I actually ordered a different brand this time because that other brand, they kept sending the wrong crap. So, paintable, fast dry, water resistant, seam sealer, white. So, got that in. So, anyways, I'll be moving on from this here shortly. But the trunk opening area will look nice when you open up the trunk. Wheel wells, everything should look good. Most of the floor here is covered up by a rubber mat, but who knows, if you're at World of Wheels or something like that, Judge might lift that mat up and look under there. So I want to make it look nice. All right, I'm out. All right, last video of the day. So I'm trying the not Eastwood, the Pour 15 exhaust coating this time. I used the Eastwoods last time on my other car, but I thought I'd give this a try and see if it's any different, any better. But I got the front sides painted, waiting for them to dry, flip them around and do the back sides. Mess cleaned up, and I got all this body worked on this back panel here, and then the dents that were in this area all body worked. But all right, got it all blowed out. I'll probably flip it a few more times, blow it a few more times, with the door open, of course. That way I can get as much the dust and dirt out of it as possible. But anyways, just wanted to show you guys that. All body worked. I think I already showed you guys that, but welded all those holes shut. There was a few holes down through there. They used the slide hammer on them, sure. But I'm out of here. Alright, so it's been 2 weeks since I posted a video. Today's Friday. I did have to put new fuel injectors in my Challenger. Started getting a lean condition on cylinder 1. But I went ahead and ordered those, the Felpro intake gasket, so I could go ahead and do that on the Challenger too, because I'm sure they're getting old and dried. But meanwhile, back over here at the ranch, shot all these with epoxy the insides of the fenders, all the inner structure. I just want to get that done before it starts rusting, and then I've out money from having to get them sandblasted, and then they just rust right back up. You got the inside of the car put back in primer after doing all the sanding and stuff I did in the trunk and the body work I did along the edge here. I did notice that I had some areas back up here that I forgot to weld, so went ahead and got those done. One little spot on that side, but anyways, the inside of the car, trunk, and epoxy again. Remember I was saying I was going to do everything except for the doors, because I plan on taking the doors off and sanding them anyways. But all of the inside in here is pretty much in epoxy. The roof skin, all the inner structure there, and then the firewall, top and bottom. And that's what's cool about having a rotisserie. You can flip over and spray down in here, and makes life a lot easier. But that's where I'm at with it. All the inside is primered once again. That for the first time, and that for the first time. I got like 3 coats on it. I did notice this roof's got a little bit of, looks like maybe some hail damage or something. It's got a couple little spots here and there. You can see them in the camera. So I will have to work on those too eventually. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Just getting this inside ready to shoot a little bit of color on it. But I want to let this dry and then do some fine tuning on sanding on this part. Like I was saying, that's one of the main areas when you pop the trunk. It's right there in your face, so I want to make that look nice. Same way with the wheel wells, both sides, they're out there in your face. And I did primer the back side of here too, which was never done from the factory. Alright, I'm out.